Hey everyone, Tina Hogan Grant here with my Cuppa A Natter that I like to do on a Monday, twice a month. I like to bring authors into my home and we talk about writing, life as an author, what we're working on, and whatever comes to mind. And tonight I have the wonderful Cameron Allie here. How are you this evening?
I'm good. How are you?
I am good. I am happy to be talking to you again. We did this, you reminded me, last year in August.
Yeah, I think it was August.
And you've been busy since then. You got some new books coming out. You have been busy.
A lot of books, yeah.
I'm looking at your Amazon page, but before we get to your books, can you just give a little background on yourself? Whatever you want to share with the rest of the world that you're okay with.
Yeah. So I'm Canadian. I live in Canada. We've got two little girls. They're 6 and 4, and we're doing like a homeschool hybrid type of learning, alternative learning methods. So
good for you.
Yeah, we're seeing how that goes.
Yeah. Well, I've got to ask. Okay, you have a mom. You're a mom.
Yeah.
You have 2 kids under the age of 6.
Yeah.
You've also written 24 plus books for the Amazon. Where do you find the time? And I'm going to ask, do you work also outside the home?
I don't. I used to. I went through school to be a teacher. When we got married and before we had kids, I was working as a substitute teacher. And from there, once I had kids, I kind of phased out the teaching. So most of the books, like the bulk of those books, came out before I had kids, and then it slowly slowed down. And then this past year, we put them into a learning pod, a little local learning pod, and so now I've started kicking it back up into high gear.
Okay. Wow. Do you with the little ones at home? They go to the learning pods, but do you schedule your actual days? Like this part of the day, I'm going to write. This part of the day is when the kids home. Do you actually have a schedule? Being a full-time mom and teacher with the kids.
Well, the kids are gone 3 days a week now. Like it's a full day, 10 to 3. So I get a good chunk of time then. And then generally on Mondays when my husband comes home from work, he watches them and I head off to a coffee shop and write a little bit more then too. And any weekend time I can grab.
Well, that's cool. Your husband's really supportive then.
He is, yeah.
I got to ask, does he read your books?
He doesn't. He's not a big reader. And he feels awful that he hasn't read them.
Oh, maybe he will. Maybe he will.
He might. But I tell him all about them, and I'll brainstorm and use him as a sounding board a lot of times. So he knows what they're about.
Right, exactly. Okay, well, cool. I want to just pause a minute. We have a lot of people joining us. I'm going to pop up some names on the screen. We have Lori Chasco is here, and we have Karen, and then we have Judy. Again, ladies, I am talking to Cameron Allie. If you have any questions for Cameron, go ahead and put them in the comments, and I will get to as many as I can throughout the chat. Judy has a question. Judy, I'll come back to your question in just a minute. We have a Facebook user in the group, which is private, so I want to just pop those up because they are here too. And there's another one. So hello, ladies. If you want me to see your name, you will need to go over to my author page, which is public, and StreamYard to show me your name. But because you are in my group, which is private, they are hiding you from me. And then Sandy is here. This was going to be my next question, so I'm going to put it up from Judy. You have a lot of books, and she wants to know, what genre are your books?
Okay. When I started publishing, the first books out were steamy contemporary. I kind of got labeled by a couple people as writing warm and fuzzy erotic romance. So I started contemporary, spicy contemporary, and then I branched out a couple years ago into paranormal romance and fantasy romance, urban fantasy romance. So I've recently started re-releasing some of the contemporary stories, so they're all getting fresh covers. Well, a lot of them are getting fresh covers, and I'm self-publishing them, whereas they were with a publisher before, but my contracts have come up. So I opted to self-publish them this time around. And Yeah, it's been good. It's been really good. So if people are interested in contemporary romance that's spicier, My Mistletoe Master came out in January. It's a free ebook, so you can go and download it for free everywhere. So Apple, Kobo, Amazon. That one kicks off a series, but most of my series are like interconnected standalone. So it's a different couple in each series. So, and then the paranormal romance, it's a series that's going on. It's Wolf Shifters. The first one is called Drew, and it's a free read as well, free ebook as well.
Nice.
Yeah. So there's a couple of freebies, and in March last month, the second book in the Shifter series came out. That one was called Callum, which is what I read last time I was here with you.
Right.
Yeah. So
you have been busy. Now, all of these books, are they full-size books?
They range in size. So the shortest one I think is like 51,000 words, just over 50, and then the longest, which is the fantasy one, is 115,000, I think.
Oh my God, that's a big book.
It is a big book. It is. Most of them are more novella length. I also have several short stories. They were published with Ecstasy, but again, the contract has come up, so I've pulled them down, or they've pulled them down, and I'm going to combine all the short stories into one holiday collection. That should be out in December or this fall sometime.
Oh, I like that idea. So how many will there be in the short story collection?
There's Neptune's Passion, which is a destination wedding, The Winter Storm, A Little Bit of Naughty, An Unexpected Christmas Gift. I think there's 4, and I'm planning on writing at least one new one for it. So that should be good. Probably 4, 5, maybe 6. Yeah.
Okay, and how many? I mean, I'm looking at your Amazon page. How many books do you kick out a year now that the kids are in school? What are you?
Now that they're back in school, it's going to take a little while to figure out what that number actually is, because right now I'm re-releasing. So there is a little bit of work involved in that. I'm rereading through all of it, kind of updating it. So I don't want to touch the characters and the plot too much. I want to leave that so we can see how I've grown as an author. But I'm touching things like, in the first book, they were calling for taxis, and now they're calling for Ubers. So stuff like that. Updating it a little bit like that. And then it's gone off to my proofer, so it's getting an additional cleanup. And so those ones are all coming out this year. And that's, well, not all of them, because it's just too much to handle. But it'll be 6 re-releases this year. And then there was the one new release that came out in March. I'm hoping to have another one in July, and then the holiday one in the fall, and maybe one more in the fall that's new. We'll see how it goes. Depends on how fast we crank it out.
And they'll all be self-published.
Yes, yeah, moving forward. Yeah.
I self-publish and I love it. I like being in control.
Me too.
I'm with you on that one. I am. One of the series that we were talking before we went live is I got to remember what I said I was going to call it, the Clay Ridge series.
Yes, the Clay Ridge series. Yeah.
The Clay Ridge series. Now, how many books are in this series?
Right now there is the one full novel, which is the 115,000 word one, which is this. Where are we? This one. Love Spells, and then there's 2 short stories. They're ebook. They're 2 separate stories, but in paperback, where am I? In paperback, they're one paperback. And then hopefully in June or July, the second novel will come out in that series.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I wasn't going anywhere with that.
Okay. One thing I want to ask is, do you think there'll be any more books? You got book 1, book 2, and the short stories. Will there be more after book 2 for this series?
Yeah. So in book 1, the Love Spells book, I have foreshadowed stuff that's going to happen in book 12. So it's going to be a long, ongoing series.
Okay. And the same characters continue on through the series? We'll
see them. It won't be the same couple.
Okay.
Some of them will get a second book or a little novella again, but we will check in with them and see them as other characters get their stories.
And this is a steamy romance.
Yeah, it's fairly steamy. The first one was a little bit more of a slow burn. It took a little while to get into it because there was a lot of world building that went on at the beginning. The Tales from the Clay Ridge Fountain is definitely steamier. The main characters are prostitutes, so it's going to be a little hotter.
Yeah. And without giving too much away, can you just kind of give us a little outline of what the series or the books are about in that series?
Yeah, so in book 1, there's a man from our world. His name is Ian, and he falls through a portal into this other realm. And he gets attacked by a vampire and a couple of werewolves, and he gets saved by this witch. And she promises to protect him for a year until he can go back to his world when the portal opens again. So basically, we're going to move forward with the series, and it'll be different couples. And we're going to just kind of explore that fantasy world. There will be some highs and some lows. There's different portals in different spots, and which I haven't got to yet, but we're gonna get into some of that stuff as the series goes on. Book 2, which will hopefully be coming out in the summer, is it's 2 side characters from the first book. They've come in, but I foreshadowed stuff in the first book that will come up in book 2, and then in these Sirens stories, the Tales from the Fountain, they will they all connect into this one. So in at the end of the first book, we found out that students have been going missing from the academy, and then in the Siren books, one of them goes missing. The second book is about the police officer that's trying to find them, and then the next book will be, okay, well, what's happening with all that stuff?
Oh wow, it sounds really good. And the covers. Let me see one of the books again. The covers are gorgeous. I love the colors on the covers.
I love them too. So this
they
one,
really vibrant. I love those. Now, who designs these covers, and do you have any say in them?
Yeah, a little bit. So this one, with the mermaid tail, this one was a pre-made that I found, and since then I've gone with this author. So the cover for Bloodlust and Black Magic, which was on the poster, the same woman who did this one did that one. I'm booked in with her, and she's going to be redoing the cover of this one. This was originally done by a Canadian artist who lives out in Newfoundland, and I love her work. She did this one and a couple other covers for me, but she's since had some health issues and some family stuff going on, so she's not doing it right now. So I had to kind of switch gears. So yeah, I found her name is Raquel, the new lady that did the tails. Whoops, there we go. Yeah, so I think her Facebook group is Crooked Sixpence. I can't remember if there's more to it than that, but I can always post it in the comments after.
Yeah, you can do that afterwards. So let me get this straight. The cover, the book you just held up, that's the cover for that book. Mm-hmm. But the previous one, you're redoing the cover.
Yeah. So
and
the one with
redoing it because you're self-publishing. Is that why?
Just because so they match.
Okay.
I'm also having issues selling this book. I've been getting some feedback from people thinking that it's very Wizard of Oz, and it's not. So it has nothing to do with that. So I think it just needs a revamp to fit the tone of the series.
Okay, I got it. And then how long ago did you switch to self-publishing?
About two years ago, I think. 2022. Yeah.
Okay, the books that you had prior to self-publishing, did you have to change those covers?
Yeah, the ones that I'm re-releasing. So
yeah, I had to do that too. Was there a lot you had to do?
It'll be 10 books in total.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. By the time I'm done.
I had one. I was complaining about one, but you 10.
I'm also.
Oh my goodness.
I'm also trying to. where was I going with it? I'm trying to find Canadian artists to do the covers and the proofing, just because mostly because the exchange rate is just brutal.
I can imagine.
So doing that many covers it gets expensive really fast, and I haven't made back what we've spent yet. So it's a matter. Hopefully, it's just a matter of time. But we'll see.
I mean, there's one thing. I mean, I love the control of being a self-published author and being in charge of my business. But it's like any business, you have to spend money to make money, and sometimes it takes a while for that, the profits to come in. But you hope it's a good investment, and I love what I do, and I just keep pushing at it. And that's what it's not just what I love what I do; it's the readers that are watching us right now. Their support, their reviews, the way they share our work. It's because of them that I love to write too, because they inspire me to write, because they tell me how much they enjoy my writing. So thank you, readers. That is just especially for you.
Yes.
I want to get into your writing habits, because I see a lot of people here asking questions about your writing. The first thing I'm going to ask, I didn't see it in the thing, but okay, so you write steamy romances. Some you say cross over to erotica. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there any other genre you would think about writing, or you're sticking with this genre?
Once I get through a few of these series and get them under me, I have a sci-fi Why Choose book series that I want to write. Yeah. So I've got bits and pieces of that started. I also want to try writing Mafia one. So those are like high up on my list.
You're going to go out and explore new genres. I like that.
I need to jump. I jump.
Okay, let's get some of your writing questions up here. Dana wants to know, do you have a special place to write?
Mostly, it's just my living room couch right now. I need to get my desk cleared off and start writing at my desk. And once the weather changes and it gets a little bit warmer, I'm hoping to write on the balcony. Get outside a bit for it. Yeah.
That'd be nice. My husband recently built me a new desk up here in my loft. Before I had a little cramped, and I never used this space. I would always sit at the kitchen table or on the couch. But now that he put this desk in, I can't get out of here.
Do you find you're more productive?
Very more. And I'm a lot more organized. So I have this space now, and I have to spread out and actually, see what I want to work on next. And, my pens, it's just a huge, huge difference. And also my attitude is better too. I mean, nothing against my dog, but when I'm down there writing at the kitchen table, I have, the dogs right at my feet.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, you're distracting me up here. They can't come up the stairs. So I want to say that. I should say,
I have that problem with the couch. The cat tries to crawl on my lap all the time.
Yeah. So up here, I am so much more productive, and I got a great view out of my window of the mountain.
That's
so
nice.
I highly recommend getting your desk organized.
Yeah.
You'll be amazed with it. And it's just a simple little change.
Yeah.
I just happened to mention to Gordon, I wish I had more workspace, because I have this little desk behind that you can't see. And I went off the hill, came back, and there's this brilliant big desk taking up half the lot. I'm like, oh my God, ask me, shall we see?
Yeah. Perfect.
Right. When it comes to your writing, I'm going through the comments. There were some people asking about your characters. One was asking, I don't see it now, of course, do your characters talk to you?
Not really. It plays out in my head kind of like a movie scene. So they don't really talk directly to me. But I just kind of see the scene.
Now do when you sit down, you're writing your book, do you plot your book ahead of time when you're writing it? Or do you just sit down and see where it takes you?
Mostly it's plotted. I always thought I was a pantser, but I think I plotted out quite a bit, especially now that I've got the fantasy world going. I had a lot of reviews that said that they really like the world building, and you have to be on top of that when it comes to planning it out. Okay,
and is the ending always how you planned it, or has it ever changed?
So far it's always been the same. The book, the new Wolf Shifter that I released last month, it was a hard book to write because I'd written it I'd written the first like 6 or 7 chapters and sent it to some beta readers, and the feedback wasn't great. And I ended up having to go back and rewrite the whole first 8 chapters. So, yeah.
Okay. And then B has a question here. She just came in. I want to pop it up real quick. She says, I came in late. Are your characters witches? Curious what kind of paranormal these are. I'm assuming they're paranormal based off the covers.
Yeah, the fantasy ones are definitely paranormal fantasy. They're more urban fantasy. So in that world, they have cell phones and internet and cars, but some people prefer to use horse and carriage, and some of them have magic. So there's lots of witches. They're kind of the powerful creatures in the realm. There's also werewolves and demons and vampires. They've got leprechauns, fairies, hellhounds, gargoyles.
You got it all.
Dwarves, elves, like everything. Like I'm just chalking it in there. If I have enough time to get my winter one out this year, it'll have Yetis in it. So it's everything I can cram in there.
You have got it all. And then Dana has a question about your characters. She wants to know, are there anyone you know?
Okay. No. No. I mean, there's probably bits and pieces of people. When I was writing, the one that I'm working on re-releasing right now is called The Perfect Fix. And it's both characters are former military. So I definitely had to do a lot of research with that one. And there was 2 guys I went to high school with that had both gone the military route. So so they answered a lot of questions. I do have one character in that who I kind of based off of a real person, but it's nobody I've ever met. My uncle was like, oh, I have a friend who runs a good garage, and I wanted like gruff teddy bear kind of guy. Like he looks really gruff and mean, but he's really a softie at heart. So, so that one went in there too. But that's it.
And a lot of authors subconsciously, I'm guilty of this, don't realize it, but they put bits and pieces of themselves into their books.
Probably. Yeah.
But they don't see it until they reread what they've written. Do you tend to do that?
Maybe a little bit. Like the witch, she's got a black cat. I loved black cats. She's a tea drinker, stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. And then we have another question here. What inspired you to write urban fantasy with witches and shifters, etc.?
This Clay Ridge series, it was originally, I had 3 other writer friends, and we were talking about doing like a collection where we all write with a similar theme and we can market our books together. So we wanted to put out something in an October month with a Halloweeny feel. So we went with corn mazes. Mm-hmm. And we all took our stories different ways. And fortunately for me, one of the other authors decided she didn't want to publish with the publishing company we were with. So I ended up self-publishing mine. And that opened me up to trying self-publishing for the first time, but it also opened up this whole fantasy world. So mine was, so it was supposed to be a corn maze with a portal in it. So at the beginning of Love Spells, I've got the blurbs for the other 3 authors' books. So everybody took, like, you've got the essential same thing, corn maze, portal. Everybody took it a different way. When it comes to the Wolf Shifters series that I'm working on, that one started with a dream. I dreamed
at the
beginning of that one. So yeah, that was that one.
Right. And then talking about the series, how many series do you have?
4, I think. 4 that are in publish mode, like they're getting published. I have several, like a lot more that I'm gonna get to eventually.
Eventually, you got a lot on your plate. Now, in all the series, can they be read as standalone, or do you need to read them in order?
Most of them can be read standalone. The contemporaries, so far, yes, definitely standalone.
Okay.
Especially if you're looking for like a fun, cozy, warm, but still really spicy read. That you can pick up any of the contemporaries. But if you need trigger warnings or warnings about what kind of couplings you're gonna find in them, you might want to read, make sure you know what you're getting into. The fantasy, you can read the first one on its own, but the rest are going to kind of link together. I'm going to start putting summaries in the front. So if you haven't read it, or if you read it, but it's so long ago you've forgotten, you can have a nice little refresher. So you're kind of caught up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Okay. Yeah. And then Karen is asking, would you consider writing with not much erotica?
The fantasy one doesn't have as much. The love scenes are still explicit, but they're not kinky. The contemporaries are pretty kinky. So far, the Wolf Shifters, again, it's explicit, but it's not necessarily super, super kinky. They're pretty dirty talking heroes. I don't think I'd ever really write something that's like clean or sweet, because I don't really read that. I feel like it adds more to the relationship when we know how they engage intimately. So, yeah.
There we go. Sorry about that. You know what I forgot to do? And I think it was Cameron, someone in the chat last time, was when I get a phone call, it knocks me off the...
Oh.
And I forgot to put the do not disturb on my phone. That's what happened. I'm sorry about that. And it just kicks me out of the thing. So hopefully I don't get any more calls. I have to leave a big note on my desk, put do not disturb on my phone. Anyway, sorry about that. So where were we? Okay. The other thing I wanted to ask you about the books, you are going to do a live read, which I'm excited about.
Yeah.
Well, the question's gone now, so that call. Why don't I just hand it over to you, and we'll listen to you read, and then I want to talk about your contest afterwards.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Let me just cue it up here on my phone. So what I'm going to read from is the book that's on the poster. It's called Bloodlust and Black Magic. Yeah, Bloodlust and Black Magic. It's the second book in the Clay Ridge series. All right, open it up. There we go. It's I have a lot to still write on this book, but I'm going to give you a taste of it anyway. It's an enemies to lovers story. They went to school together almost a century ago. Her father runs the school, the Witch Academy, and he's just broken in to the school. Hold on, I gotta catch up to him. Okay. All right. So his name is Rowan, and he's broken into the school. He's broken into the collections room. Oh, no, I'm not in the right spot. Okay. Where are we? There we go. All right. So some of the animals in the series can talk. So if a bird is talking, don't be surprised.
Okay.
All the witches' familiars can talk. So she's just been told that there's been a security breach. All right. When she was close, he whispered, "There's been a security breach." Oh, the knight was finally looking up. Where? The collections room. Shit. One of the most valuable rooms on campus. The collections room housed their oldest and rarest texts and artifacts. It contained cursed objects and some magic and some ancient books with spells to harness black magic and darker witchcraft. In the wrong hands, selected items from the room could be very destructive, like end of life as they know it destructive. I'll take care of it. Eager for a chance to do some major magic, power rushed through her veins. I will notify your father. He'll be along momentarily. With a nod, Evie exited the conservatory and slipped away from the mansion, heading toward the connecting school grounds. Entering Howler Hall, she made a brief stop at her office. Using an incantation, she opened a small safe and withdrew a long knife in a cowhide sheath. At this hour, most of the hallways were abandoned. Students who resided on campus would be in their dorms or in the common areas. It was summer, so many of them were outside enjoying the cool evening air, now that the sun and humidity had disappeared. From Howler Hall, she headed toward the Infinity Woods Library, beneath which was the collections room. Wanting to keep her intruder unaware of her presence, Evie used the stairs rather than the elevator. In case there was more than one trespasser, Evie didn't bother with the lights, instead using moonlight to guide her. Pressing her hands against the stone wall, she crept down the stairs, careful not to make a sound. When she came to the bottom, her heart was pounding, a smile curved her lips. As quickly as possible, she pulled open the stairwell door. The foyer was lit but empty. The elevator doors were the only modern-looking feature in the otherwise ancient-looking room. With the door to the collections room wide open, whoever was inside wasn't expecting company. Footsteps and the occasional soft-uttered curse word let her know that whoever was in there was busy searching for something. But what? As far as she could tell, there was only one intruder. Anticipating the need for speed and agility, she reached down and silently removed her high heels. Pulling the dagger from its sheath, she continued forward, inching past the open door. The room itself was technically 2 floors, with a spiral staircase in the center. It was below ground level, so all the light was artificial. Shadows loomed, especially where the room twisted to reveal partially hidden alcoves. The intruder was out of sight, dashing around the next corner. Tightening her grip on the dagger, she tensed, about to spring, when suddenly there was a pop, a whoosh, a muttered curse, and then a flurry of movement as the burglar set off one of the defense measures. She was surprised someone had gotten this far into the room before becoming ensnared. Sure, they set off the silent alarm, but if the item they were hunting for had been in the first quarter of the room, their crime may have been successful. Disappointment lanced through her. It seemed there would be no fight this evening. Keeping her dagger in her hand, she continued around the corner, eager to see who would dare try to rob them. Dangling from the ceiling, caught half in a rope net, was a large, dark figure. A familiar-looking bent black hat lay on the ground. Part of his upper body was exposed, and his heavy cloak dragging along the ground with each movement. Evie ran her tongue along the front of her teeth as irritation consumed her. She knew that figure. She knew those grunts and curse words, and she definitely knew that hat. Sheathing her dagger, she balled her fists and simply watched him. He kept trying to crunch upward and reach the rope that held him, but with one hand caught behind his back in the net, and his magic worthless due to the net's enchantments, there was little he could do. Fucking hell. Evie leaned against the wall. Well, what have we here? His struggle stopped, and his shoulders sagged. Even though she couldn't see his face, she just knew he was already trying to figure out a way to use his silver tongue to get out of this mess. Seems we caught a rat. Twisting, his face appeared with that fake, too bright smile. Evie, what a pleasant surprise. Cut the crap, Rowan. She pushed off the wall and stalked toward him, unsure of just what to do with him. His gaze roamed over her. Don't you look lovely this evening? Did you have a date, or were you at a party? Ignoring the fact that she was in an off-shoulder, floor-length gown with a dangerously high slit up the thigh, she glared at him. Why are you here? What were you trying to steal? He recoiled. Steal? How could you think such a thing? Rowan, I swear, I have a perfectly good reason for being here. In a trap, in a forbidden room, in the middle of the night. He scoffed. It's hardly the middle of the night. I want an answer. He ignored her. And I want to get down. He tried again to reach for his feet. Giving up with a groan, he continued to dangle from the ceiling. How about giving me a hand? Rowan, She stopped. Moving closer, she noticed the dark spot on his shirt. Is that blood? Rowan looked toward his side, but didn't reply. Realizing some of those grunts and groans hadn't been from struggling, but from pain, she reached out and stopped just shy of touching the wet stain on his abdomen. Our traps wouldn't have done that. She frowned and shifted her gaze to his. What did this to you? This time, when he moved, he grabbed the back of her neck, causing her to stumble forward. He grunted when her palms collided with his body. Pressing his lips against hers, he kissed her hard and fast before pulling her head away, his hands still tangled in the hair at her neck. gaze as hard as his kiss. He growled, "Get me down." And that's that.
Thank you so much. That sounds really good.
I hope so. It's
I got some comments I want to put up for you. This one says, Dana says, "Wow, sounds good. I love listening to you read."
Thank you.
And then Karen says, "Great live read." And then we have someone in the group who says, "Love when authors read to us." Virgie says, "Sounds awesome." So the reading you just did, is that from, there's another one. "Great job with the book. Sounds great." I love putting these up. Love the live read. This book is still in the works. Is that what I understood?
Yeah, I'm hoping next month. I'm hoping to announce the release date and set up the pre-order. But I need to get through a couple more of these re-release, get them off to my proofer, and then I'm going to go hard at this book. I have a live event in Toronto in August, and I really, really want this book at that event.
So, is this the book that's on the graphic for our chat? It's called Bloodlust and Black Magic.
Yeah.
Okay, another colorful cover. So, audience, if you saw the graphic, that's what it's read from. And do you know if it's going to be a series or a standalone?
It'll stand alone. It's part of the overarching Clay Ridge story. I kind of in my head think about it a bit like a tree, where it kind of like will have little branches that shoot off. So we're going to focus more on vampires over here and witches here, and we're following this plot line down this stream. Or maybe even kind of a bit like the MCU, where you've got this superhero, and then they come together to work together. So so Rowan and Evie were both in book 1. Okay. We find out at the end of book 1 that it turns out Rowan has a daughter, and she's been kidnapped by a vampire, and this vampire has discovered that normally if a vampire drinks a witch's blood, it can kill them, but she's half witch, half mortal, and he's discovered that if he drinks her blood, he can have mage power, and the sun no longer hurts him, and he's just so much more powerful. Wow. So Rowan has to get his daughter back and figure out a way to stop the vampires.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'd love to see be in your head when you have dreams.
There's a lot of stuff up there right now.
There's a lot of stuff up there. Do you have a preference on writing a series or a standalone?
I love writing series.
You do?
Yeah, I love reading series. That's generally how I read. When I was like 15 and in my 20s and starting to read romance, and I would read authors like Laurie Foster and Galen Foley and Christina Dodd, where they've got interconnected standalone series. So it's each book is a different couple, like right. You kind of, so that's kind of what I tend to write. I gravitate towards that. But in my 30s, since I've had kids in particular, I've been reading a lot more of the first person books that are, the duets and the trilogies where it's the same couple. So I don't know if that's going to change how I write moving forward a bit in some of the series, like the Mafia one would be more that style. But
And when it comes to writing a series, I get different feedback on how long do you think a series should be? I mean, are you a fan of the series can go on for 20, 30 books or keep it under 10 books? Each author has a different, some authors just love to keep writing. A series that goes on 20 plus books.
Yeah. I think it depends on the series. So like with my contemporaries, they're all around like 4 to 6 stories. I think that's a good size. But with this fantasy one, it's gonna be one of those long ones that just keeps going and going.
So it depends on the story, how far it keeps it going. Do you think you'll ever go back to the ones that you say are done, like 4 books? Do you think you'll ever go back and add to them?
Yes and no. like with those first person ones that I've been reading, like Laura Lynn Page and Megan March and L.K. Shaw, who writes Mafia, they have a tendency to, they've got like 2 different series or it's like 20 different series, but the characters keep showing up. So as I'm re-releasing my contemporaries, I'm starting to connect it into other series and other series that I have planned.
Well, that'd be interesting.
I love seeing the characters show back up.
Yeah, I mean, I've only written trilogies and a series, and I finally just wrote my first standalone. Yeah. And to be honest, it feels really weird.
Yeah.
I just got done with the first draft, and it's like, this is going to go to the editor, the cover's going to get done, and I'm done.
Yeah.
With this book. Yeah. I'm done. And it's like so quick. And the fact that
what is that like?
6 months, but it's like, I'm so used to, like, in my head, listening to the characters for the next book, because my characters talk to me.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, that one's going to the editors. Let's start on book 3 or 4. And it's kind of rolling in my head while I'm sending this book 2, whatever else, to the editor. But with this one, Secrets Told, it's like, done.
It's done.
So weird.
It's weird.
It's so weird. And I often, I say the Sabella series is done. The trilogy is done. So I'm thinking now, what am I going to do next? And I never had to think.
Yeah.
So quickly after writing a book.
That's hard.
What am I going to do next? So
I don't even know. It's going to be a long time before I have to wonder what's next. It's just the list is just insane.
I have the ideas in my head or on paper or whatever, but the fact that I get to pick something so quickly.
Yeah.
I'm not used
to
it.
That's new. That's new.
It just feels weird. As soon as the book goes to Lulu, my editor, in a few weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, then I have some free time.
Yeah.
Which I'm not used to. Not free time, but time to figure out what's next. Yeah. What I want to do next.
Yeah.
And I'm not used to that. It's just a weird feeling. And I don't know if I want to do another standalone next, or do I want to do a series? Because like you, I have all these avenues I can take.
Lots of different places.
Do I go to door 1, door 2, or door 3?
Yeah, exactly.
I want to get into your reading habits. We talked a little bit about your writing. Now, when it comes to reading, I suffer. There's not enough hours in the day. I'm an avid reader. I enjoy reading. But for me, it's like, do I want to write or do I want to read? And writing always wins. Always wins for me. And I get frustrated because these wonderful readers that are watching this will read, 10, 15, 20 books. And I'm still working on the same book when it started book 1. So for me, it's frustrating because I really, really enjoy reading. But it's like a balancing act. How about you? Do you put aside specific times to read, or?
I don't, mostly because my kids don't go to bed very well at night. Yeah. They're so little and they don't. And my oldest, she's awful for going to bed. Like she's up till 10, 10:30. Last night, I think it was like 11:30. It's like, and we're like in bed trying to go to sleep for like 2 hours, but she's just, I don't know. Her brain is just on at that point. So for me, the way I pick books makes a difference in when I'm reading. So I tend to gravitate towards certain authors, and I don't branch out from my one-clicks very often. So growing up, it was Laurie Foster and Galen Foley and Christina Dodd, and I was like, on release day, I was over at Chapters and, wanting that book. Then I got into recently, Megan March and Laura Lynn Page, Roxy Noir, and L.K. Shaw. And I tend to, I'll start a book. I'll find one of them. I generally start one of the free first in series, find out if I like it. And if I like the author, I just devour their backlist. So I will go maybe months without reading anything. And then, I stumble upon a new author, and then I read 12 books in 2 or 3 weeks.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and then it's done again for a while. Yeah, or I get Roxy Noir has one coming out this summer, so when that one comes out, that'll end up taking up my time. Yeah.
And Dana's saying she says she likes to read at night before she goes to bed. It relaxes her. For me, the only place I can read a book is in the bathtub.
Oh yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Because if I read here, and I'm sure a lot of readers can relate, my husband will be like, "What are you reading?
Yeah.
What are you doing?" Or the dogs will come up to me and want attention and want me to pet them. Yeah. But in the bathtub, it's quiet. It's alone time. It's my time. And Gordon knows that when I'm in the tub, I'm reading. Yeah. Do you have a preference of time of day when you can read, or like to read?
It's at night. Yeah, it's generally at night, because once the kids go to sleep, or if I'm waiting for them to fall asleep and I've got one of the books that I've been reading, I'll sit and read it. Sometimes I'll read it while they're playing. Like they're with me 2 days a week when they're not in school. So, they spend the bulk of those days just playing with each other. And sometimes the days that they play well, I can get housework done, or I can read, or
right, yeah.
I can do some social media posts. And if they're not playing well together, then that's
that's it. Game's over. You got to go with the kids. And then Judy says she likes to read at night, plus early in the morning, and when it's very quiet. I did that, Judy. Before this house was built, we have a little tiny house, and it has a patio on it, a deck. I would go out there every morning with a cup of coffee and read a couple of chapters of my book in the morning sun. But since we built this house, I haven't done that. And the deck is right there. It's really weird. You just remind me. I don't do that anymore. I should start doing that again. And then Virgie says, I read every day, a couple hours in the morning and a couple hours at night.
Yeah.
And then Lori says she'd like to read anytime. For me, it's a constant battle, plus getting me alone time. So,
well, you're working, right? You work full time?
I work outside of the home, and then when I'm working on my books too. Yeah. And it's just, I really want a 48-hour day. Forget this 24 hours. There's 12 hours of, and 8 hours of sleep is too much. I want 5 or 6, but I can't. The only time I tend to relax is in the bathtub. I am constantly doing something.
Doing and going and
And if I'm not, my head is just going 90 miles an hour, what I need to be doing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But, that's part of being self-published too. When you're self-published, you do wear all those hats. You are the writer, you are the publisher, you are the marketer. I mean, you are it. You are a one-man company unless you hire people to help you, or it can be overwhelming, but for whatever reason, I love it. And I like to keep busy.
Yeah.
So let's when you're not writing and when your kids give you a break and they are behaving, what do you like to do for fun that takes you away from the writing or the books?
Right now, as embarrassing as it is to admit, I've gotten hooked on my daughters. My brother got us a Switch for Christmas, which was an incredible gift. So he got us a Switch, and my parents got us a Disney game. It's called Magical World. Anyway, my daughter was playing it, and I'd help her along with it because she can't read yet. So I'd read the stuff to her and try to help her. And then one day she up and deleted it and restarted it. So I was like, okay, all our progress is gone on this game. So I've started my own. I've started my own now, and I'm like addicted to it right now. But ordinarily it would just be reading or writing, or if the rare time my husband and I get time, we'll sit down and watch some sitcoms, generally reruns. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Yeah. Your books, I know that they are on Amazon. Where's that question? Okay. I know that your books are available on Amazon, paperback and Kindle. Are they available in KU?
They are right now. The fantasy ones are in KU.
Okay.
Love Spells and the Tales from the it's called The Water Witch. The Siren and the Water Witch and the Siren and the Hellhound and Love Spells are all in KU. They are not doing well there. So I was just doing a trial run. They will be coming out in mid-May. So if you do read in KU and you want to try the fantasy books, read them now because they're going to come out and then they'll go back wide. Everything else is wide, but I'm noticing that I'm getting a lot of downloads on the free contemporary book on Amazon. So my plan is that I have another series will be a re-release probably next year, and it's very kinky. The first one's BDSM, the second one is some voyeurism, and the third one I haven't written yet. But those three, I think I'm going to put them in KU to start and see how they do.
I think with KU, it depends on the genre.
I think so.
Some genres just do not. I've heard some genres do not do well in KU. I have two different genres, and my Tammy Mellows trilogy does far better than the Sabella series in KU. Yeah. And the Sabella series is a suspense romance.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's like a hit and miss sometimes with KU, but with your paperbacks, Sandy's asking, are they available in stores?
The paperbacks, I think it's just through Amazon right now. Love Spells I used, it's an Ingram Spark.
Okay.
I published that one there, but it's the only one that I did. I haven't really stopped to look at, because I think D2D will do print books now too, right?
So I do publish through Ingram all of my books, and if your books are through Ingram, anyone can go to any store worldwide and say, I want to order Cameron's book.
Yeah,
they don't necessarily have to have it in the store, but it'll be in their system.
Yeah.
So they would order your book, and then they can go back to the store, Barnes and Nobles, whatever it is, and pick it up personally.
Yeah.
So that's the thing with Ingram, but I'm not sure about the other place. I don't use them. So.
Oh, you don't use D2D?
No, I don't.
Dr. Digital? No.
Dr. Doodle? No, I don't use Dr. Doodle.
But yours are all in KU, so yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, they're all in KU.
Yeah.
I do KU, Amazon, and Ingram.
Yeah, and Ingram. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I do. So, okay. All right. And then no audio, right?
No, not yet. I haven't financially hit the level that I could invest into that right now.
Yeah, it's not cheap. It's not,
yeah,
especially with all the books you have.
Yeah, I'd have to be very selective, and the fantasy series, it would need to be like dual narration or a full. It would have to be a full cast. So I've got 6 points of view in the first book, so it's
that'd be hard.
A lot of people.
That's a lot. Yeah, and a lot of money.
Yeah.
Unless you get one narrator that's really good at switching voices.
Yeah. There's a couple of them out there that are really good, but yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't even looked.
I know.
I know I'm not there yet.
Wow. So before we wrap this up, these hours go by so quick. What are you currently working on, which I think is Bloodlust and Black Magic, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
That's what you're currently working on, and you want it out by when again? I'm sorry.
Hopefully, end of June, beginning of July.
Okay, and then once that's out, what are you going to be working on?
After that, I probably will be working on the holiday collection of short stories, putting those all together, and then after that, I have a Clay Ridge winter story I want to write. So those will probably be the two priorities, and then after which I'll be moving into Elliot, which is a wolf shifter.
You got your work cut out for you.
It doesn't stop.
Along with raising 2 kids and doing homeschooling part-time.
Yeah.
Well, Cameron, this has been
a
really fun chat as always. I do want to talk though about your writing contest.
Yes, I
meant to bring it up earlier and I got involved in other subjects. So I'm going to give you as much time as you need. If we go over, it's perfectly fine.
Well, it probably won't take that long. I've back in November, I got the idea that I wanted to try to host a writing contest. So I'm trying to increase my Instagram presence. And I know a lot of authors, they either are really good at Instagram or they would like to be better at it. So in an effort to connect authors to Instagram and to Bookstagrammers, I've invented this Bookstagram Reviewers Choice Awards. So I've contacted lots and lots of bookstagrammers. I have 60 of them who have signed up. Some of them have on the lower end of the number of followers, like, a couple hundred. I've got a couple people that have 35,000 followers on Instagram. So, there's a wide range. Most of them have 3, 4, 5, 6,000 followers. So the contest, I've got my judges now. Today I've got the entries have finally opened. So I'm going to announce that on all the social media after we're done on here. And so it's 13 categories. It's $25 US to enter. It has to be a romance. There has to be a romance in it. What will happen with it? You enter your book in, and it will be read by 3 Instagrammers. They will be given a scoring criteria, and you can see it on the website. All the information is on my website. Now, the bookstagrammers do not have to review your book, but if they like it and they want to, they will review it. So you potentially have a lot of exposure if they review it, and it could be as 3 different reviewers, which is wonderful. I've also got prizes lined up. So the first place, so whoever scores the highest in each category, they win a 3-day, I think it's a 3-day book blitz from Book Mojo,
right?
Company. And second and third places get A+ content, one of those 3 image banners things from Book Mojo as well. So there's lots of incentive to come and enter.
And the price is reasonable too.
Yeah,
the price is very. And now is this going to be an annual contest that you're going to do every year?
I'm going to see how this year goes, but I'm hoping that maybe it will expand. Yeah.
How exciting! And that took a lot of work to put that together too.
Yeah, well, that was and contacting all those Instagrammers, that's something that I can do when I'm sitting there waiting for my kids to go to sleep.
Oh, wow.
So I messaged all those people and they've gotten back to me. So yeah, so some of them are reading. The judges mandatory have to read 5 books each. Some of them have offered to read 6 or 7, 8. Some of them have said 15 or 20. They'll be reading them from May to the end of August. And what we had discussed that we were going to announce the winners on your show in October.
Yes, I have you booked for that. Yeah. I'm going to write a note to bring it up earlier than 5 minutes before the end of the chat. I got talking to.
I'll have a lot of names to read off. We can do that first thing.
But also, if you want to send me the graphic and links, I can put it up on my author page.
That'd be fantastic.
And that way it can be shared from my author page. Any authors that come on my page and want to check it out, and I'll tag authors too.
For sure. That would be fantastic.
And it's shareable on my author page. How exciting.
Yeah. So
keep us posted on that for sure.
They will. The books have to be published from May last year to April of this year.
Okay.
So that's kind of because we want to be pumping.
And are they categorized in like levels of steam?
No, there's 13 categories. We've got historical, contemporary, small town, country. There's RH Why Choose. There's erotica. There's sweet clean romance. There's dark romance. There's fantasy/urban fantasy, paranormal romance, and there's also, because I'm Canadian, there's Canadian author category, and it's judged by only Canadian Instagrammers. I think I'm sure I'm missing. Oh, there's an LGBTQ category, and I'm sure I'm missing one, but I can't remember right now.
If you want to put the links in the comments too, after the chat,
sure.
in the author on my author page, and in the group, because it feeds to both. Perfect. And then I would definitely put it on my author page. If you send me the info with a graphic of some kind,
I will. Yeah,
we'll do that. That'd be fun. This has been a lot of fun. It really has. I really enjoyed it.
I love this. Yeah.
One final question, and then we'll talk about the giveaway. But what advice can you give to an aspiring author that wants to get published?
I would say definitely look into and seriously consider self-publishing. That's one of the first things. And branding. I wish I'd thought branding through a bit more when I started, because jumping from genre to genre is a difficult task. So yeah, really study what the successful authors are doing business wise, not just their writing.
Excellent. And you are doing a giveaway, which I want to thank you for. If you want to tell our readers what that is.
So I'm going to let whoever wins, they can have a choice between the Love Spells paperback or the Sirens paperback. And these guys are absolutely beautiful, by the way. On the inside, I've got some lovely little dividers.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And then the chapter headings all have a character symbol. So every character has their own symbol.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and then this one has 2 stories in it. So I got some nice little pictures in here too. This one's pretty. So
very nice.
Yeah, so I love them.
So they get a choice of
either
or.
Yeah.
And it will be signed.
That one won't be, because I live in Canada and shipping is ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I totally understand. The fact that you're doing a giveaway is just wonderful. And then I'm going to be doing my giveaway, which is a $5 Amazon gift card. And we all know how this works. You need to go to my author page and share this video wherever you want to share it, whether it be on your personal page, in your favorite reading groups. But be sure to tag me in to let me know you did share it. And that way you'll be entered into the giveaway. And Cameron has asked me to announce a winner for her. So I'll announce both winners in about an hour or so. And I will tag you. Cameron, it's been a lot of fun.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Yes.
Thank you. And thank you, readers, again for joining us and for the great questions. And I will see you in the group with the winners announcement. Good night, everyone.